Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. You are with myself, Simone Milasas, and this is just a really quick intro to what you are about to listen to is Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, who I've worked with for 21 years, and myself, and we have this discussion. It was a live chat with the Joy Business Facilitator training that I just did today, and we asked Gary to come on and talk about business, talk about creating your business and the different choices, because that man is phenomenal with the way he chooses in life, living, and in business. So please enjoy.
He's got a good voice for saying that.
Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the third day of Joy Business Facilitator training. And today we have our very special guest, the founder of Access Consciousness, who has changed all of our lives so much. I'm incredibly grateful. Mr. Gary Douglas, welcome.
Thank you. It's always nice to be on these things. And it's always nice to see you in the morning and your beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you so much. Yes, nice and early, crack of dawn, literally for me. So, so I've asked you, I wanted you to come on here because, oh my God, you are so phenomenal you're so phenomenal with everything, but you are so phenomenal with business. And one of the first classes that I ever traveled to, it is the first class I ever traveled to with Access, was a business class that you did. And it was in San Francisco. And I remember talking to my father, who was an accountant, and he knew my financial, story, that I didn't have much money. I was very much in debt, etc. And I was talking to him about meeting you and Access, etc., and that you had this business class in San Francisco. I'm so grateful for him, because I remember he said to me, Simone, it's going to cost you about $10,000 to go, your airfare, the class, to all of that hotel. And he said, but I think you need to go to figure out if this is what you want to do in life. Almost makes me cry. I was going for the business class. My father was willing to have the awareness of a future.
I know. He saw the future, and that's the thing that was a gift about your father, is his willingness to see the future, which he always did.
Yeah. He was so grateful for you. And I remember going to that class, sitting in the front row, just going, oh my God. And every single word you were saying, I was just like enamored with it. And it was like every tool you were talking about, I knew could create something different. It was so different. I hadn't heard it before, but it landed in my world. And I went, yes, that's what I always knew was possible. And nobody else was talking about it. One of my favorite tools that you gave right at the beginning, you said, how many people have the point of view that no one can do the business better than you? And I was like, yeah, hello, Captain Obvious, and that gave me so much freedom, because I realized everyone I was hiring, I had the point of view that they couldn't do the job as well as me. So then I was hiring all these people who couldn't do the job as well as me, which then made me this like source point, and everyone had to come to me. So that was a great
and you did all the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Always good to hire incompetents.
Well,
I always hire people who are better than me at things, like you.
Well, thank you. Higher up, one of the things that we've been talking about. So I got a quote here from you, Gary, and I was wondering if you could talk to this. It's
Sure.
like you said this a little while ago, and business of the future will be a willingness to receive, not based on a need for money or anything other than what contribution will this be to create the future I desire. Everything you do will be about creating the future you desire to have on planet Earth.
Yes. because it's like right now everything is being done for how much money can I get, how much of this can I get. So that's the reason our governments have flipped from republics and democracy into these spaces of, how do we get the support of the big pharmacy and big business and all that, and that's why they're always giving special deals to the social media people and the technical area. And in so doing, it's like at some point, this will not work because they're actually all that is being created. I don't know whether you've noticed, but it's like in our political system, all we have is a fight all the time. There's a constant state of fight. It's the Democrats, it's the Republicans, it's this people, it's that people, it's the, it's like, but none of it is about actually what are we creating and what's actually possible here. And I would like to see it get to the point where we are looking for what can we create that's possible. And I know that it's a reality, and I know that in the future, this is the way the world is going to have to function if you want to be successful. But you have to choose success, and people don't. They choose sameness more than success.
So for all of these wonderful, amazing facilitators here, it's like, what could you talk about with them to actually start choosing success? Because one of the things you've said too is the ultimate awareness gives you the source to create success.
Yes. It's like the more awareness you're willing to have, what can I be aware of today that can give me an edge in the world with total ease? This is how I function daily. I'm always looking for that which will give me the edge, will give me not the heads or the tails of reality, but the edge of reality is the place that you can function from and create from. Because only if you're on the edge can you actually determine whether you're going to step off the edge or whether you're going to step on a higher space or a lower space or you're going to fly. And you want to be able to choose always.
Okay, so I love what you're saying, Gary, and being on the edge too. Can you talk to, because I've worked with you for 21 years now in many different, not just Access, in different businesses as well. And the one thing that I see always is your desire to create something greater, but you're never vested in the outcome. You're willing to lose it all. Like you're willing for Elugar to go away tomorrow if that's going to create something greater. You're like, done.
Okay, fine, it's gone. It's like I know that, it's like, I've had lots of people that have worked for us that I thought were really valuable and good people to have. And when they left or quit, I went, okay, what now? And the only person I wasn't really willing to fire was you, but I always threatened you.
We have had some interesting moments throughout the years, that's for sure. Not
Yes.
for a while, but early on we
definitely
had some like loggerhead moments.
Yes. Yes, that's because she's stubborn and I'm not.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. I'm as stubborn as she is.
Neither of us are controlling. Neither of us are determined or anything like that.
No. It's like none of us have a point of view about anything. So it's like, we're just pushovers, pussyfooters. It's like, so it was, it's like the thing is that what I realized is that if I am not willing to have someone leave, what I've done is made them the source of something I cannot be. You got to be willing to let everybody leave you, and where are you going to go? At one point I went, okay, so what if I lost everything and everyone in my life, including my children? And I went, whoa, okay, I can have that. And I realized that I could lose everyone and I would still be me. And I would still have choice and I would still have something to say or do or be. And it's like, it's like at 80, I should be looking to retire. And I'm too tired to retire. So I just got to keep going. So that's my reason. What?
You are too brilliant, Gary. It's like the information, the awareness that you're willing to have and pass on is just like, there is nobody like you. Incredibly
No,
grateful.
because I'm always willing to give everything away. Why am I willing to give everything away? Because if I give it away, then you can use it and you can create something greater with it. And that's the reason I'm, after this point of view. I'm looking for what can I, contribute that makes the world a better place.
And also more shows up.
Yeah,
Amy,
always.
got a question?
Yeah. So I was chatting to Sean and he said something, probably not your words exactly, but he talked about how the investment, say whether we're investing in Elogar or in being a JCF, right? Choosing to be a JCF, it's an investment. So you're investing in a possibility.
Yes.
One of the things he said that you had said was that not to give up on that possibility. So can you talk about the difference between not giving up on the possibility and what you just said there about your willingness to lose, like your willingness to let Elogar go or let Simone go or Access?
Yeah. Well, like basically what it boils down to is it's like if you keep energy in something, it continues to grow. I see people who invest their money in things and then they take their energy out of it and expect it to grow for them. This is what's called investing. You're supposed to have a residual income. You're supposed to have all these things. If you remove your energy from what you invest in, then that thing will tend to go down in value. I noticed that with my own investments. When I would invest in something without it being something that I personally had a love of or desire for, like at one time I invested in a company that was known for creating, ammunition for guns. And that was one of the things they did. And I just said, oh, well, it'll always be valuable. I took my attention off of it. It went from 34, at which I purchased it, to 13 in about 8 months and never went up again. But it's like I realized when you invest in something, you invest in JCF, for instance, you got to keep putting your energy in, because if you keep putting your energy in, it will grow. You will have success. But the energy in equals the success you create. How much energy you're willing to put into something determines what creation can come from it. So you got to be willing to look at, okay, am I willing to invest everything to make this even greater? And for me, it's like everything I'm willing to invest in is something I'm willing to have even greater. And it's like with El Lugar, it's like Sean has now taken over promotion of it because David was too busy, number one. But number two, he did not understand my point of view about business. Sean does. And I had a conversation with Sean today that blew his mind, because I've been looking at El Lugar from this particular point of view, which David never explains to people. I always look at it from El Lugar is something that I looked at, okay, so we need a place that we can go to and have classes and have exclusive use. It's like having other people come there does not help. It's not a good way of doing it. And the 6-day class done from this point of view of exclusivity allows everybody to move as fast as they can, as far as they can. And that's what I'm interested in. And so I was looking for, okay, how can I make this? I love it. Now, one time I'm on camera, they're walking across my roof, blowing the leaves off of it.
You can't hear it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny as I watched
That always happens.
through,
Yeah. I'm like, how many lawns are there to mow? Yeah.
Yeah. So at any rate, I looked at, how much it was costing us, how much we were paying at the venues we were staying at. And we were paying roughly $500,000, plus the people in Access drink a lot, so they were making another $250,000 in liquor.
I love it.
And she takes a chug. Good.
Yeah.
That was a good timing. Thank you. You accentuated my point. And it's like, but it's interesting to see that, it's like I looked at it and we were doing $750,000 every time we went to one of these places. And why they wouldn't give exclusivity for that kind of money, I did not get. But there were people that didn't do it. The funny part about it, I just found out the other day that Sueño Azul, which is where we used to go, when they did that thing to us of not keeping their agreement of exclusivity, I said, we're not coming back. And we didn't ever go back. And now the bank has foreclosed on the property, and it's owned by the bank now, not by the people.
Gary, that is an amazing example, actually, because we went there for years and years and years, and we went there a few times a year. And when we didn't pull our energy out like to be mean or vindictive, it was just like, okay, we're done. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. We're done. Removed our energy. And ever since then, they just went boo and slid down. It's like, but when we put our energy in something like El Lugar, the property, it's like we had that property before we even gave them 1 cent. Like when we said, I'm sorry, we can't afford it right now. Maybe you should put the property back on the market. And the owners said, no, the property is for you. It's waiting.
It's waiting for you. Yeah. Which almost brought me to tears. And it was true. And it's like, it's funny because when the first time I went to El Lugar, I drove on there with Claudia. And I said, God, this place is beautiful. And she goes, oh, and this is the ugly part of the property. And I went, what? And I went across the river to the other part, and she was right. It was the ugly part of it. And the interesting part is, being that ugly, we have added houses to it. And as we've added the houses and the buildings, it's gotten prettier. When does a piece of land get prettier as you add buildings to it?
I can answer that. When you're willing to work with the land, and your determination to say no, 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 no to every single person who has perceived authority, like in an area, you went, no, I don't care. I'm not doing it like the way you say it. I'm doing it the way I know it can be, and working with the earth and the land.
Yes. And it's like, and I want to work with the earth, and I want to work with the land. And it's created this whole other universe. And it's like it's being documented. There's a film company that's coming out and doing documentary on it at different stages. And they're slowly but surely, and I just got a picture of the reception hall. They finished it just a few days ago. And it was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And I went, this is exactly what I had in mind. Beauty. It should be beautiful. It should be aesthetic. It should be something that you want to come in and sit down. And you just want to go, I want to go see that building. You know, it's wonderful. And
Gary,
so
the
all of
whole
this
area is like nothing I've ever seen before.
I know, isn't it cute?
The elegance when you go for a swim is just like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. So Tiffany, you have a question?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I just wanted to ask if you would talk a little more about putting your energy into something. Like, can you talk about what that is for you?
Well, for me, it's like every morning I get up and I go, okay, where do I need to put my energy today? And it's like, it always determines who I need to talk to, who I need to call, where I need to put my attention. And it's like, and because of it, it's like, I make money in the strangest fucking ways, but I make money all the time. Not that I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to create a better place, and the universe is supporting me. And it's like, it will give you opportunities and possibilities. Yeah.
That's the key. One of the key things I've noticed with you, Gary, you are trying to create a greater place, a greater world. And so the universe supports you. And I asked you, a couple of trips ago we did to El Lugar, I was asking you about choice and like how you choose. And so simply, you were just like, every choice I make is for a greater possibility.
Yeah. Because every choice you make creates something. You know, if you chew a piece of gum, it creates something. Sometimes it pulls out a filling. Sometimes it makes you feel good. Sometimes it's just the amount of sugar you really need, because you need sugar more often than you think you do. You know, kids are always looking for sugar. Why? Because they are brain active. Their brains are going all the time, and they need more sugar. And everybody says, take the sugar away from the kids. They're hyper. They're not hyper because of the sugar. They're hyper because they're hyper. and they need sugar to keep on going.
I'm I'm just laughing because we've got Tiffany on screen here and her wonderful, amazing son, Silas.
He's
He loves coming
so cute.
to the
Oh my
kitty.
God.
I know he's coming to Dubai. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's great.
And he's going to his first maestro class.
Cool.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited. That's great.
He wants to come and say hello.
Hello, Silas.
Hello,
How are
Silas.
you?
Mwah.
You're looking
I get
very
to see you.
handsome today.
Thank you.
I'm not sure
Thank
how
you.
this is going to work.
Thank you for being in the world.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for being in
You're
the world.
welcome.
He said, "You're welcome."
Thank you. I'm very grateful. I'm glad you came to your mom and your dad. Good choices. Okay. They are great people.
We are glad to. We are very
Yeah.
lucky to have him.
Yep.
So the question you're asking to Tiffany, and what I'm looking at is as a great example, is this other property that Gary, you just mentioned, Swene Azul, which we actually did talk about in this class the other day, and that it's, you know, becoming available, etc. So for me, it's like that, putting your energy into that, but not
Yeah.
vested in the outcome. It's like, okay,
Mm.
will this show up? Could this show up? Will this create a greater possibility? Not assuming it
Yeah.
will create a greater possibility.
No, I never assume anything. I always look at it. And the thing is, I get into business backwards. I don't go into a business forwards. Okay. I look at what kind of money is it producing? What kind of money can I produce? And then if it can cover itself now, is there a possibility of doing something different and greater that can make more? So it's like with El Lugar, I looked at it from $1.5 million from $2.5 million from Access a year is a big sum of money. How much would that support? And that's how we came up with the size that El Lugar could be.
But that's also, you're not looking at the money that it's bringing in today, you're perceiving the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you started buying horses and you had a
Mhm.
few horses, but you perceived a future that nobody else was willing to have, and now they're receiving that future. So many of us have these beautiful, amazing Costa Ricenses.
Yes, and it's like, and all these things are now coming to fruition that I saw as possibilities. But I always ask, what will this create in the next 25 years, 50 years, 100 years, 500 years? And with El Lugar, one of the things that I said when I talked to the architects is I said, I want it to look like it's been here for 100 years, and I want it to last 100 years. And several of them said, oh, well, we don't do that kind of building here in Costa Rica. I said, good, we're done.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. It's been nice knowing you. And one of them said, well, we need to take off the top, 3 meters of soil to get down to bedrock. I said, no, we're not doing that. I'm going to build on pylons. Oh, that's too expensive. You can't afford that. I said, I'm sorry, what? Who? You tell a humanoid they can't afford something? And how does that work for you? I put my hands on my hips and I said, it's not too expensive for me. I said, we're going to do it this way because this is an earthquake zone. Because it's like there are volcanoes in Costa Rica. And you got to look at the surroundings. You got to look at the place you are, not assume a point of view. Their point of view in Costa Rica is you put it down on bedrock and you put a concrete foundation. And then if it breaks, well, you fix that later. That's not my point of view. My point of view is prepare for what can happen. Don't wait for the disaster to fix. But they do disaster fix, not take care of. And so
being aware of the future.
Yeah, being aware of the future. And I'm aware of the future. And I know at some point there's going to be a volcano that goes off and there will be, earthquake things, which means that things will move. When they're on pylons, they can be refixed. You have a question, Silas?
Hang on, I have to unmute. Okay.
I'm coming to Dubai too.
I'm so
I
happy
know.
to hear that.
He's
Simone
coming
is
to
so
Dubai.
lucky to have you in Dubai.
And we're
And we're
gonna go
riding
riding camels.
Yes, we're going to ride
Cool.
a camel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
ridden camels. I've ridden elephants. I've ridden horses, donkeys, mules, jackasses, and some just plain asses.
I was going to say. So we'll be riding a camel, Silas.
Yes, that's good.
The rest is
Tiffany?
for another time.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's for later. Tiffany, do you have any more questions in regards to that?
Did you get?
No,
Did I answer you, Tiffany?
yes, I'm sure there's more brilliant stuff in there, but yeah,
Yeah, because there's water slides jam packed.
Good.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you,
So-
Silas, for being on with us.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
So
He's
Gary,
so
I would
cute.
actually like you. I love the stuff that you spoke about, like you work backwards, right? But I
Yeah.
sort of want to look at this again because when you say you work backwards, you're working backwards from energetically what is possible, not what is actually going in the bank now. Like you look at
Actually,
the possibilities of the future.
I'm looking
Avatar.
at both. I'm looking at all. See, I look at all areas. Because for me, it's like if you're creating a business, you have to extrapolate. You have to look at this piece and 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 then put them together to create the picture of what you're creating. So with Access, it's like people come on board and they say, oh, well, we've got this great idea and it's only going to cost this much money. And I said, and what revenue stream are you going to create to get that money? And they go, what? You have money. I said, yeah, and you can't have it. What revenue stream are you going to create that's going to create that? Because my point of view is like if you're going to create something, you need to know how you can create a revenue stream to support it, not just take what you've got to create it. And what most people do is they take what they've got to create something and they have no support system for it. You need a support system. You know, it's like when you have people that work with you, like Simone, you have a lot of people supporting you. And does that support system make it easier to continue forward?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes.
I have like angels working with me, left, right, and center. It's like someone, and
I
one of those
know.
angels is always awake.
I know, it's pretty amazing. And I love the fact that we have people all over the world that are awake and doing stuff all the time. And we're not a business that works 9 to 5. Okay. Most people do. And I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how people deal with that.
So looking at the future of creating a business, being an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and here we are being Joy Business facilitators, is there any like little tips, hints that you want to give them before we leave
Well,
today?
I'd say, okay, so what revenue stream, it's like, so for advertising, okay, what revenue stream, not what percentage of my income can I take to create this, but what revenue stream could I create that would support this? Because there are thousands of ways to create advertisement and people look for one. Okay, social media is it. And I'm the only person who doesn't believe social media is the answer to advertising.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are changing their point of view around social media. I know I am, that's for sure. So yeah.
Well,
It's an
like with
interesting-
with the castle, it's like to get things going, everybody wanted to do social media. And I said, no, I don't want that. I want you to have personal contact with people because this is about an intimate place and an intimate space. And if you communicate directly with people, a different possibility begins.
So I know you also have a call coming up for certified facilitators with Sean, Arthur, and Alison and yourself, and it's based on engaging and engagement. Can you give us a little?
Well, it's
Can you
like
give
the
us that?
thing is, when you talk with somebody, you engage with them. To have a conversation, you must engage. To have a text means you don't have to ever engage. People don't get involved with text. And if you're around people who do a lot of emojis, you actually are having no communication. Okay, they do emojis to avoid communication. And I know you all think I'm full of shit about that, but
No,
you're
I
gonna
just
find out
laugh
I'm correct.
because Dane and I love Dane will send a thing going sad face emoji. He'll write it out. So
Yeah.
just to like toy with the Gary.
Yes, just to fuck with me.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like texting and everything like that is a really
Yeah.
easy way to dismiss.
Yes, it is. And that's what people do. They dismiss. And social media is a dismissal system that has not been shown as what it really is. It's been saying this is the way you start creating a future. But it's like, how many of you have done those selfies and gotten, 10 million hits on it? You haven't. Why? Because it has no interest in it. It's just that.
So you've got a video out that's had I don't know how many hits, but a hell of a lot of hits. And it was you
Last time
working
I
with
looked, it was 10 million. It was a little over 10 million, actually. And it's like, and I just think it's funny because I don't know how it gets out there. I don't know how people find it. I don't know how people look at it, but they do.
Actually, let's find that link and we'll put it in there. It's of Gary at a Right Voice for You class a billion years ago,
At the
working
very
with a girl
beginning. Yeah.
and her voice.
Teaches
Yeah,
a girl how to sing.
yeah, yeah. It was amazing. Okay, does anyone have any other questions for Gary before we
Can I add
let
something?
him?
Yes?
Yeah.
One thing that you do through other people with social, like you've been asking for help for like these glasses for El Lugar,
Yes.
for the antlers for the Christmas tree, the contest for El Lugar, and it create like you create this place where they can engage with you in a really different way.
Yeah. But you
It's-
see, I use it
cool.
to create a question, to create engagement. I
Yeah.
don't use social media to tell anybody about fucking me.
Yep.
First of all, I'm not sure I'm going to let you fuck me, but but I really
We
don't.
use your social media.
Yeah. Big news to
Well,
social
Megan.
media. Okay. So it's like, for me, it's it's the willingness to look at what can be and what should be. And the thing is, the one thing I know about all the people that are on our list, it's like we don't share our list with anybody in the world ever. Okay. And everybody always wants to get a hold of our list so they can send promo to them. I don't allow that.
Nope.
Because I'm not interested in that. But for me, it's like when I ask for help, it's because I know that there's somebody out in this group of 8 million people who know us that's got to know somebody, something. You came up with a good source for the glasses. We may now have our glasses secured for El Lugar.
Yeah, and everyone, like, people are private messaging you. They're like, the engage quote, what they in social media says is engagement. You create real engagement. And it's so cool to watch how you do that,
Yeah.
Well, many years ago, I remember we were looking for Turkish translation because everything in Turkey was expanding. And you said, send an email to the database and ask if there's any Turkish translation. So we did, and we found Ebru in London. Now,
Yeah,
if we
I know.
said, we have to find someone in Turkey, we weren't going to find them right then because she was on our database in London. So you asked a question and then she showed up and it opened up a whole lot of stuff within Turkey and translation. But you just asked a question, put it out there into the world.
See, but you see, that's the ultimate engagement is question. Question is the ultimate way to engage. So you want to start with a question and then move from there into something more intimate.
Yeah. But true question.
True question.
Not
Not
a sentence.
one of those.
At the end.
Hey, can you send me a pair of your dirty underwear? Yeah,
Now people are going to be asking for the address. No, I'm kidding. Francesca, you have a question?
I just want to thank you so much. It's interesting how today Dane in the Easy ESB was saying how it's just starting to perceive what it's truly possible. And it's something that has, whatever you guide us through this morning, but it's this constant, it's literally like we never stop. Like, so I just want to thank you so much to inspire myself personally to be the greatest I could be, because that's a talent. Like,
it is.
And you too, Simo. Thank you.
You know, it's like I always want
Just like-
everybody to be as amazing as they can be, because I think we have some brilliant people, especially in Access. We get the most brilliant people, and it's like, and they're always trying to figure out where they belong. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint, folks. You don't belong at all anywhere.
Yeah.
You are not part of the peeps of this reality.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you
Yeah.
were a peep, I'd get you stale and I'd eat you. So
It's true.
That
And also like,
saying that. Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
don't belong, and it's also leadership is so different, like the business as well, like
Yeah.
the way that we don't have to compete with each other. We just like, you know, sometimes we get like this, and as Simone said, it and most of the time create the greatest expansion
Yeah.
every time we do this. Yeah. So
yeah, that's because each of you are fighting for your point of view, and then you have to defend your point of view, and then you look at the other person's point of view and go, okay, if I was defending that point of view, and you begin to see a different reality, because that's how you create the awareness of a different reality. Fight both sides of the question, and you get to a different reality.
wow,
Yeah, it works.
it does.
So,
Super great.
did you find that process that I sent to RD?
Yep.
Can you
I've
please
already
give
sent
it
it.
out to everybody? Or
Yeah,
have you given it
I've
to
already
them?
sent
Okay,
it
good.
to the Joy Business Koi to give it out. So yes.
Okay,
I
good.
have.
Thank you.
Cool. So Gary, thank you so much for being on here. I
Such a
know
pleasure, my darling.
everyone.
I'm
like,
so
thank you.
grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for the joy of business that you do. Because business is joyful for you and for me, not for many of other people.
But all these wonderful peeps here now, there's like more and more of them every
Good.
year. They're like coming out of the woodworks, like Phoenix is rising from the ashes.
Yes. They're mostly ashes rising from the phoenix. It's okay. All
It's
right.
joyful for me too.
Good. I'm so glad.
Exactly.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody.
Thank you so much, Gary Douglas. I love you.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Take care.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMillises.com and follow me on Instagram at SimoneMillises, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes, and lastly, have way too much fun today.